Hello, everyone. Last session. Mani, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, thank you.
Awesome. Good to have you back, Mani. They have been asking for you for quite a while now. So I'm happy that we are back. We have a very interesting um, subject to talk about, Mani. What are we going to discuss during today's session?
Great. First of all, thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to our community again. Yeah, today we're going to talk about the roadmap and objectives of Energy WebX and what we have been working on. Um, Going back to the time when looking at the last session we had, Daniel, I think we announced a couple of important points about the tech stack, what we are working on, what are the projects that we are working on, some um, projects that we are working with exciting partners. So today we're going to talk about just doing a flashback and review what we have done, and also looking forward, what are the exciting features that is going to be added and enabled on Energy of X and Marketplace application. But before that, I was thinking that if we can do a brief introductions to the what is Energy Web X is all about, what is worker nodes and what is a worker node operator. It would be great for everyone to have a simple understanding of how it looks like.
That's perfect,
So
Mani.
great.
So let's start. Go, Mani.
So Energy Web X. So in introduction to the worker node network. So Energy Web X, as you all know, is our new substrate-based Polkadot parachain that we just launched. And the most important factor that we wanted to include into our design principles was how to connect community and token holders and their participation into enterprise business solutions. So if you look at it at one side, Energy Web X is governed by the same token, which we call it Energy Web Token. And on one side, there are enterprises. And on another side, that of course enterprises would be interacting with the Launchpad. As you all know, we just launched our software as a service platform. It's called Launchpad, which our colleague Camille has covered in two interesting presentations. And on the other side is a marketplace application, which enables like anyone in the community, basically all token holders, to be able to participate in this ecosystem. And how it works is those token holders community, which they're having a token, Energy Web token, which is basically on Energy Web chain, would be able to lift their tokens and be able to stake into different solutions for a subscription to different solutions. If you go to the next slide, so the way it works is upon subscriptions into worker node networks, there would be a reward slashing mechanism that is enabled for worker node operators that is going to take into action. And on the other side, enterprises would be paying with fiat, mainly as of today, but soon we're also going to enable some of the enterprises to be able to purchase services and solutions using Energy Web Token as well. So this is an introduction about worker node networks. I mean, the concept. If you go to the next slide. Great. So
Money, wait. Let's summarize this part first so that everybody clearly understands how this works. So the one thing that brings us all together is Energy WebX. We have the Energy Web token, which is needed. We have the token holders, which are using the marketplace app. But on the right side, we have the enterprises that launch those solutions using Launchpad, which Camille described. And on Launchpad, everybody is able to pay with fiat because that's what the enterprises want. And then we go back to the story Jesse one described with the fiat will be flipped. That's for a different session. What we are now also enabling or will enable in the future that those companies can pay with EWT. Is that correct?
Yeah, great. So the entire innovation is enabled via Energy Web X. That's where all the um, uh, governance of the solutions and the staking, reward, and slashing and everything is implemented. Basically, the entire important logic of Energy Web X is on the pallets of Energy Web parachain. But what was very important is for us to enable two layers of the user interface. One was for token holders. That's where the marketplace desktop application is a very unique proposition, a first of its kind, that this is not a simple decentralized application. This is a complex cross-platform desktop application that encapsulates wallet connection plus worker node execution environments in a simple, user-friendly manner. So as you all know, I have not seen any other Web3 crypto project that enables a community and token holders to be able to run a blockchain node as simple as that without having any technical knowledge or going through several documentations and setup procedures. On the other side, Launchpad is a software as a service that enables us to be able to launch our products, which is Greenproof or Digital Spine, and they're all going to be attached to worker node networks that is going to be automatically deployed on Energy Web X, and is going to be automatically appear on the desktop applications of worker node operators so they can actually participate in performing computation. So there is a zero manual work involved. I would like to emphasize this. From the moment that the enterprise pays with fiat and subscribe to a solution for a smart flow until the moment that token holders community, they will see an additional logic is going to be executed under worker node environment. There is zero manual intervention. So that's the most important thing, and that's the most what do you call novelty of our solutions that we have implemented.
Awesome, money. So, what do we see in the next slide?
Yeah, so I would like to mention that why we have implemented worker node networks, because there are flexible governance uh, mechanism for the worker node network. So enterprises can actually configure worker nodes the way they want. Some of the solutions that we are involved, for example, European Union Horizon projects, they would like to have their worker node networks in a private worker node setup, right? Sometimes it appears that at beginning they would like to start exploring with private, and then after that they do it in a hybrid way, and then certain elements of their solutions they want to make it fully public. It all depends on the level of transparency that they would like to have for their solutions. So but is everything is transparent, everything is open and visible to everyone. So for example, company A says that, yeah, I'm running this green proof solution. So based on the transparency that the public will see, they would be ranked as a higher, more transparent solution. So in this particular example, is a private worker node network that it has been associated through three particular worker node operators around the globe. So this is where this is one part, one type of setup for worker node network. So if you go further, there is a different type of setup for worker node networks, which is a regional setup. Some of the solutions require enterprises that to have worker node operators within a certain region, right? For example, only opens to European Union operators, right? So that is where they can actually specify and it can be governed in that manner. In another example, if you go to the next slide, is basically custom KYC. So the next milestone for worker node networks on Energy Web X is to implement self-sovereign identity and verifiable credential-based onboarding for operators. So certain solutions, enterprises would require operators to be KYC, or it requires for them to specify, for example, what type of renewable energy they're using. They would, for example, they would like to only onboard green energy consumption worker nodes, right? So Next step is allows us to specify the governance of the worker nodes in a completely fully flexible manner. This is where you can see a different kind of worker node setup, and it's all work on the same Energy Web X without doing any manual intervention. It's all easy to set up using a wizard on the launchpad, and it can be configured. So you might ask a question, wait a moment, there is no KYC or no onboarding and the DIDs in the existing marketplace desktop application. Well, yes, exactly. But this is where the Energy Web grants and also next phases of the developments would be crucial in order to add more functionalities into Energy Web X. So next step is to enable the DID issuance and verifiable credentials to worker node operators. And we are also working with some partners
Oh,
uh,
Mani, be careful.
for our official KYC and KYB provider that we can actually have all these features being implemented soon. So yeah, if you go further, if you look at Energy Web X, is where you can actually have many types of worker node setup in under one umbrella. So let's have a look at what is the worker node. Basically, many people ask us, what is a worker node? Is it a software? What do I need to install? What do I need to do? First of all, who is an operator? Anyone can be an operator, a worker node operator. In our case, it's either enterprise or any individuals, right? There could be some enterprises that would like to participate, which I will actually go further and explain what are those objectives. That enterprises would like to participate in only running worker nodes for different type of solutions. That's one option that is going to be available also in Launchpad in a way that it can be self-sovereign. It can be set up on their own cloud, or it can be set up on our managed cloud services. Or it could be any individual. Individuals basically using the current approach is a desktop application, but we also, as we spoke last time, we are working with hardware manufacturers to have these to be easily added into single board computers or low energy consumption devices that it can be onboarded using a simple mobile application. So all those announcements will come later, but there would be a different models for operators who can run worker nodes. So the current method we have is using desktop application. So if you go further, the worker nodes are basically any desktop or notebook or mini PC, or it could be heavy-end servers, as we spoke in the enterprise use case, or even GPUs, as we all know, with all those recent adoptions and AI, and we know they're very heavily and CPU intensive computations and using GPUs. So those would be also be enabled for operators to be able to run. And what I mentioned is single board computers as well. So if you go to the next slide, so onboarding and the setting up of the worker nodes used from operators would be enabled via Energy Web X application. Currently, it's a desktop application, but soon it's going to be a fully web-based and also mobile application. So how the web base can actually run a worker node is an interesting question, but the web base, it would be simply for staking tokens and onboarding, and then you can run your worker node somewhere else on a cloud or on a single board computer, or maybe on a free tier Amazon instance. So
So,
that's
Mani,
where.
hold up. You just said so. We have the Edge WebX application right now. Soon there will be a web-based application and a mobile application.
Yes, so there are series of uh, repositories. Is going to be open source, right? So soon we're going to have web-based application. Web-based application is simply like you can connect your MetaMask or different kind of wallets and become an operator, but there is no worker node execution environment, obviously, in the browser, but you can link other PCs or other computers or other servers, other like Raspberry Pi whatsoever, in order to be declared as your worker node machine, right? So that's one, the web-based application. There would be also the mobile application. So, for example, you purchase a hardware, you just it comes either pre-installed with EnergyWebX worker node execution environment, or you install it. You simply use the mobile app to interact with your wallet, stake your tokens, and then become an operator. Of course, it could be a KYC that you might need to do, but those are all depends on the requirements for different solution pools. So these are additional repositories going to be enabled. Of course, we also going to have Raspberry Pi projects, and we also going to open up EnergyWebX grants program for anyone in the community to be able to be involved in building this computation environment for additional devices and hardware. So that's it's very crucial for us to have EnergyWebX grants program that is going to enable us to go a lot faster. So not as Energy Web, we try to build everything alone, but we also incentivize community to be able to participate in that. So
So, Mani, just to summarize here, we have Energy Web X. Any company or anyone else can use this application. What do you need in order to have worker nodes? You need a desktop, notebook, mini PC, single board computer, you name it. Enterprises will probably use the heavy end servers, but you need something there. Then you can use the app by downloading the application. In future, using the web-based application or interacting and controlling your application through your phone. And obviously, the last piece of the puzzle, in order to run your worker node, you need the Energy Web token. Did I miss
exactly.
anything? Is that correct?
No, just imagine you are on a vacation, enjoying your vacation, and on your mobile phone, you can see how much rewards you're getting paid for different solutions. That is automatically onboarded by enterprises on your computing machines that you have somewhere. So that's basically what is going to be enabled.
Wow, that's awesome, Mani. So I believe we have one very, 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 very important topic up now. Where are we right now and the roadmap?
Yeah, great. So I think last time we spoke, we mentioned that we are finalizing all the audits, right? I mean, certain people asked that why we have even opened up the participation when the audit was not completed. Well, basically, simply we wanted to have a good testing environments, and we wanted to get community involved earlier, and we also wanted to reward the community earlier as well. And we have completed few rounds of audits, and everything is completed and everything is deployed. Uh, and we have launched two extra pools, as you all know, the Digital Spine and Smart Flow. We might want to go to the next slide to talk about where we are.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the recent launches was the Launchpad, basically our software as a service for enterprises. The launch of the Smart Flow pool, which is crucial for connecting enterprise solutions that launch on the Launchpad to the Energy WebX marketplace application.
Mhm.
The other one was Digital Spine Pool. Digital Spine Pool is the one that it connects to our decentralized data hub solutions that is also going to be deployed by enterprises. And then marketplace applications, some upgrades that we mentioned that we gonna enable lowering as well. And
Then we have one important one there. That's the Energy Web X application, which is a very, very exciting announcement that will happen in the very near future, right, Mani?
uh, yeah, exactly.
Great. So I wanted to put it in there because I want everyone's eyes on that announcement. Obviously, I can't type what the announcement is, but this is a very, very, very excited announcement. And Amani, at the end of May, we are going to, or we already did that. That's I don't know if we've done this, but green proofs for EVs. So we already launched Auto Green Charge. What is this green proofs for EVs? Is it something to do with that one, or is it separate?
Yeah, as you all noticed, like in the previous discussion, I mentioned we are working on the mobile application concept, but this is a particular implementation for greenproof EVs. Um, that I cannot disclose who we are working with. I'm trying to be careful here. But yeah, this is what we are building right now with a lot of partners involved for different aspects of the Green Proof for EV solution. is not just the manufacturers, but it also involves with where the energy and charge point comes from, and of course the identities, and of course like if there is gonna be some future payment mechanism and all those things. So yeah.
Awesome. So let's fast forward to June. What is happening in June, Money?
Yeah, let me just go to the same slide on June. Um, so on June, we have a very important milestone. You all know that we have been building Green Proofs project that enable us that to be able to have several solutions built using it. So the powerful aspect of Greenproof is the team has done an amazing job in the long journey of design and implementation in order to create this solution is so generic and so configurable that we can simply reuse it within different kind of use cases in the energy industry. So we figured out a way that we can make these solutions be available as a service. So it would be simply allow us and some verified partners or even enterprises themselves to be able to launch green proof solutions on their own. Um, so that's the green proof as a service. We also have worker node as a service, which my colleague Kamil mentioned that is going to be appear in June. And we have, I think our colleague Johannes also covered the EU Horizon projects that we are involved. So we are going to onboard worker node networks one by one into the Energy Web X according to different kind of solutions and requirements that is going to happen. So I know that one of the projects that they're definitely going to be worker node networks by latest by June appear in the marketplace.
Awesome. So let's pause there for a little bit and say that the Horizon job, that's where I want to double click on. So Ionis had this awesome presentation where we went through all the projects that we have secured. Ionis also said, hey, for most of the projects we are using worker nodes, how big is this money? Because this is like projects that are funded by Europe, right? That we see being more efficient, more impactful using Energy WebEx and the worker nodes.
Yeah, correct. So, of course, the products, main products from Energy Web is the Green Proof and Digital Spine. But we have observed that when we are entering into the discussions of the technical specification of those projects and architecture, uh, the way that Energy Web X worker node network is so powerful enough that we can utilize it in almost any of those projects. And it's interesting to know that it's one of the recent projects that we are doing in EU Horizon is there is a very specific contribution by Energy Web that they would require to have four worker node networks for different kind of business cases to be implemented. And there are different companies need to be in different worker node network, or it could be public, or it could be private, or it could be hybrid mode as well. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, we're gonna share the more information in soon, but this is where we are standing right now.
that's awesome, man. So let's go to July. In July, the first thing that pops up is the Energy Web X major upgrade about a custom consensus rewarding slashing for working on network. What does that entail?
Yeah, so these were part of the initial roadmap of Energy Web X. So as you all know, we have shown the stability of the marketplace desktop applications, our Energy Web X parachain, and the Launchpad. But in order for worker-node networks to reach to the final stage where we have custom consensus, reward, and slashing, team are working hard right now in order to achieve this milestone. That gonna enable us to even be more flexible when we are deploying solutions. So I'm gonna share more information about different kind of consensus, but that's one of the major milestones that is gonna appear there, hopefully by July.
Awesome. So then we have smart flow features. Camille discussed them as well. One question I got, Mani, after Camille's session, which you might be able to answer, is why are having features on smart flow so important?
Yeah, so smart flows are nothing but a flow-based programming, but they are smart enough in order to be able to be encapsulated in an execution environment, and they can interact with our Energy WebX to reach consensus, right? So basically, they are decentralized computations environments that these logics it would be executed, and they reach consensus on the result of their computation. So there are many different use cases it can be implemented, but one of the crucial requirement is to be able to have some on-chain storage. It means that currently, instead of worker nodes reach consensus on the result of a computation, they also would like to reach consensus, or it's going to be happen automatically after the consensus that certain storage item on Energy Web AC can be updated. So just imagine that you can actually have additional logics on Energy Web X, additional storage item without developing any code. It's just using drag and drop. So it would be specified in the drag and drop smart flow, and upon deployments on Energy Web X, that storage it would be created, be recognized by all these worker nodes, and it can be updated depending on different kind of use cases. So that's one of the crucial use case for a worker node network.
Awesome. So then we have Greenpeace for Bitcoin public worker node pool. So the first pool of Greenpeace for Bitcoin is expected in July.
Yes, that's the expectation. So as you all know, we are building this project is now public. That what partners that we are working with, but there would be some public worker nodes attached to the informations of the credentials. We're going to come up with the details later on. I do not want to expose too much information, but there would be green proof for Bitcoin worker nodes that is going to be available in the marketplace by July. And the same applies for the auto green charge mobile application, green proof for EVs worker nodes. Basically, worker nodes that they are performing the matching of the charging sessions and the energy attributes and uh, providing the matching the exact certificate it would be suitable. And so those are the logics that it would be included in green proof for EVs. That is also going to be opened up by July.
That's awesome. And for everyone who is seeing Auto Green Charge for the first time, we just went live during this event. I believe it was on Tuesday. If you have an EV, apply now. Be one of the first to test the application out. www.autogreencharge.com and check it out. So for everyone that's looking right now, I hope you guys enjoy it so far because from here it's gonna get really good, right, Mani? The next slide, I see one big face powered by AI. Mani, tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so this is it's a very important topic to be discussed, of course, that we have been working on for quite some time with some of our partners. But one thing is very important to understand about worker node networks and why we are doing it. So maybe we can cover some aspects of this. Why is it important? If Daniel, we can go to slide 28.
There you go.
Yes. So as you all know that there are lots of efforts towards creating the green software, right? There are lots of phases for different companies or enterprises in order to be able to create a more greener software and more sustainable. It all starts from the design and developments, monitoring, and also refactoring. Basically, they deal with new releases. It means if you're building a new software, you can work on some concepts to make your software developments more green or more sustainable, or some of the action items that you can have for basically running systems in order to make it more sustainable. As an example, for example, you have your iPhone is charging at certain times, but it's not charging at certain times. It all depends of uh, uh, where it detects what would be the most suitable time for the grid in order to charge your phone to have the more greener charging. And but these are all perfect Of course, the new releases are very challenging in order to be adopted because you need to revamp the software creation and also the running system, but they're all very well considered and very well discussed under the environmentally sustainable computing framework. But these are all mostly adapted to the Web 2 applications. So if you go to the next slide, is basically a typical carbon aware software approach is you do certain operations at the time that there is a lower carbon intensity or there is or maybe you do less computation when there is higher carbon intensity. So this is where and they're looking at the time of the day, but they are not really pretty accurate. And it also depends on where your computation environments are basically located, or how granular is your geographical zone of your data servers are located. So if you go to the next slide, yeah, basically the typical carbon aware software approach, there, uh, there are different concepts of it, but carbon aware is the one that we would like to discuss more about today. Basically changing of the behavior of the application to make it more sustainable. So, as I mentioned, in Web 2, there are different approaches being implemented. Even the big cloud providers that they're having approach that they perform executions of your business logic or diverting of the service offerings into different regions. But they all depends of where what regions those data centers are located.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
Mani, I know we are at the brinks of this bleeding edge technology with AI. How would this come along with those worker nodes? How would this work?
yeah, exactly. So if you go to the next slide, this is where I can explain more about it. So using an AI technology, we would be able to have a mechanism to implement across thousands of the decentralized worker nodes around the world to identify which worker nodes would be able to perform certain computation in the least carbon intensive manner or the most sustainable manner. And in order to do that, as more operators you have, as more efficient you get in order to perform that execution. And when you have more solutions being onboarded, you can also have a ranking of the solutions that how sustainable they are executed right now during the day. And this is very important that how it applies to Energy WebX. So
Yeah.
assuming we have thousands of worker nodes around the world, they are operators and their KYC basically based on their location and address. And there is a business use case by enterprise that it requires that computation to be executed. So using an AI technology, we would be able to identify uh, what subset of those worker nodes it can be involved to perform that computation on that exact moment in order to have the most sustainable execution. So we're going to share more details about this in coming days, but basically that's going to be a proof of green work consensus for worker nodes that is going to be implemented using an AI technology. Of course, there are some changes and upgrades need to be done on Energy Web X chain and also on the worker node execution environments to make all this happen. But this is basically the concept. So our goal from quarter 3 onwards is really to become the most sustainable decentralized computation environment. And this is a very big mission, but we are very excited because this is never possible without having the concept of the worker nodes that we have already implemented. This is only possible if you have huge number of worker nodes in the most granular physical locations that you can have the information from the grid, where they are located, how green they are, at what time of the day, and how you can actually distribute the computation work to them in order to get the best outcome.
So, Mani, in this example here, and we just made this example to explain how AI could help and how AI could work. We see that on the left side, you see like a curve. That's the nighttime in the globe, and we see where it's sunny right now, and AI is recognizing that, hey, right now in the US, everybody's probably asleep, so the grid is not that heavily impacted. So AI recognizes this and turns on the worker nodes there. And in Europe right now, we have whatever 24 degrees. Everybody's outside. Everybody's charging their cars. The grid is very heavily used. So AI is turning those worker nodes off. Is that correct? Is that what we are seeing here?
Yeah, exactly. So of course, those worker nodes are able to identify themselves using some carbon aware SDK and APIs that, okay, what's the best time for me to be operational, right?
Mhm.
But if you are involved in a decentralized framework, you are expecting to be rewarded for your computation. So, and you do not want to be slashed of not being operational at the right time. So it means that there should be an element of the same logic being implemented on chain. So the collators of EnergyWebX are calculating and expecting which worker nodes at what particular time of the day need to be performing computation, and they would be rewarded. But the reward is going to be much higher, right? And the slashing, it all depends of how enterprises would like to configure their solution. This is the beauty of the flexibility of what we are building is when an enterprise would like to deploy a solution, they can specify themselves how sustainable their computation they would like to be, right? What operators they would like to allow those to be executed, and what kind of manner.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So very exciting. Let's go back to our roadmap. So we left at July. We are working right now. We're experimenting with AI. So Energy Web is on its way to becoming the world's most sustainable decentralized computation network powered by AI. What else do we have in August, Money? I see a couple pools. I'm getting excited here. What's going on in August?
Yeah. So as we all spoke, is on July we're gonna have the Green Proof as a service launch. So it makes the most sense that we have green-proof public worker nodes to be operational as well. What it means when we every single solution that is deployed from the launchpad by any enterprise on EnergyWebX, there would be an additional worker node computation being pushed into the marketplace to green-proof public worker nodes pool. So that's where it means. It means more customers we have on the launchpad, more incentive will be provided to existing subscribers. So that's exactly what it means. That is for specifically for Greenproof. For Greenproof for EVs, I think the project that we mentioned that in July we're gonna go live auto green charge. We're gonna have the public worker nodes to be launched around August. Right, these are all the time frames that we are expecting that to be available. Um, and of course, we have Greenproof for SAF public worker nodes. So there are certain elements of that need to be implemented in order to open up the computation to public worker nodes. Of course, we need to be uh, able to have the anonymization or pseudonymization of the data, so there are no privacy informations involved in the data that is pushed into the public worker nodes. That all need to be implemented, and then we can have that available in August as well.
Awesome. Which brings us to Q4. Q4, end of the year. And the first bullet point, we've discussed it a couple of times, is about the decentralized grants for networks and solution on Energy WebX. And this is going to be rolled out in Q4, and we call this phase one. And as you guys probably already saw, Q1, Q2, 2025, we're going to phase two. Money, what does this mean? What is phase one? What is phase two? And why are we taking this with baby steps, basically?
Exactly. So I think there are some discussions going on the background with the members and the community fund committee of how the grants program will look like. So I'm more talking about purely the technical aspect of it, how it's being going to be implemented. So when we have more information about how the funds are going to be allocated, uh, we can share those information publicly as well. But from the technical aspects, there would be first implementation for the grants. It means the grants allocations, application for the grants, a KYC for the people who can apply for it, and the voting against it by the committee, and the approval of it, and the funds allocations for the those on Energy WebX. That is going to be in the phase 1, and definitely the phase 2 is going to be where a fully decentralized milestones payouts for those grants is going to be implemented and comes in action. There is no manual work. We will not have a human that look at the grant milestones in order to approve payments. It's
No.
all going to be fully transparent. It's going to be on the open governance on our parachain. It's going to be visible, but parties involved in the voting process is to be defined, right? And the automatic payments for the milestones is also going to be part of the protocol. So that
Yeah.
is very crucial to understand. This is different from a lot of other grants out there that you apply for it, yeah, you get some money, but then future milestones is all manual process to identify your deliverables and all those. So these gonna actually enable us to go with a lot of partners that I'm trying to be uh,
Very careful.
again, so that
So it's good money because the last time I told you to be careful, we had what did we had a PayPal announcement? Yeah, I believe it was the PayPal announcement.
yeah.
So you need to be very careful, man. We don't want to leak some stuff out. But basically, what you are saying here is we are working together with members, with the technical team of those members, to design a grants program for everyone, where everyone can help each other out. Everyone can suggest upgrades or whatever for the Energy Web X network, Energy Web, to be done. But the cherry on top is it will be executed in a decentralized way. So there is no human interfering somewhere in this process where I need to approve something or where I need to vote yes or vote no or do something. That's what you're saying. That's the ultimate goal of this program, right?
Yeah, and then the use cases are pretty versatile. So I'm just giving an example. Like if there is certain organization would like to fund like solar panels to be what you call installed in Africa, if those solar panels are considered the real world assets. So at the moment of those solar panels try to communicate with the grid, then there would be worker nodes identify that in a fully transparent, decentralized manner, and the grants would be allocated to those who funded for those investments. So it's not going to be a human, and it's not going to be anything manual in the background. It's going to be fully decentralized and transparent on-chain executions of the supporting those projects.
Awesome. And then in Q3, Q4, we are basically going towards a fully decentralized Energy Web X governance. Amani, my question here is why is this so important?
Yeah, this is so important because we would like to make sure we build a community, very strong community, and we build we want to open up the governance of Energy Web X as we move further. And we do not want to be in any form in the main what you call driver's seat of this. But of course, the technology need to be very well established, need to be tested, and we need to build a strong community and relationship with our members in order to achieve that. So that's our goal. Definitely next year is go toward that.
That's awesome. This brings us to one thing, one last missing piece of the puzzle, Mani. And I've been getting numerous PMs, DMs, messages, emails, and that's lowering. Mani, we have lifted this. So in Energy WebX, the marketplace, we have enabled the lifting functionality, which enabled everybody to lift their Energy Web tokens from the Energy Web chain to Energy WebX. But as we discussed last time, for lowering, so the functionality to lower your tokens from the Energy Web X chain to the Energy Web chain, we were awaiting audits, and we have done multiple audits. Mani, you have basically dived into the code many hours, many sleepless nights. When are we enabling lowering?
Yeah, maybe why not? We can just do it right now.
Do it right now.
Yeah. So I mean,
All right,
just
let's go.
just to explain about that. Yeah, I think the lowering feature was already there from day one. It was just disabled in order to protect the community. But we have done multiple audits by I would say the most well established and most expensive auditors But even still, myself, I could still find issues in the code, right? And in order to make it more perfect day to day. But I think we are now at the stage. We have done all the fixes and reports being have been regenerated. We're gonna open up and we're gonna make all of those transparent, available to public as well, plus the code repository. But lowering has been tested, has been deployed, and it's already on Energy Web X. So we can enable it right now. We have already tested with the desktop application marketplace. Now we can just push the updates to everybody as we speak.
Hold up, money, hold up, money. Don't push money. We need to enjoy this moment with everyone from the community. So let's take a quick look at Mani's screen. Like, that's very, very interesting to see. So, Mani, what are we seeing here? I see that we are on GitHub. We have a new release. What's going on?
Yeah, we have thousands of the internal draft releases that is always there. And but yeah, this is a repository. It's going to be open, and then I can just publish the release. This is the release we have tested. As you all see, is the 2 days ago is the most stable final release that it has a enabled lowering feature. And what we can do, we can actually push the release, and everybody who is running the marketplace desktop application can receive the update. And here you go.
Here you go. So there will be an update pushed out to everyone using or everyone that has the Energy WebEx marketplace installed. Give me a couple minutes to put the new links on the Energy WebEx website. Update your application and lowering is now enabled. Money, how does lowering work? Like, how long does it take now?
Yeah, the lower is a configurable time frame, right? But at the beginning is because the reward period on Energy WebEx is 24 hours. As you all know, every 24 hour you enter in a new reward period. So it's also going to be the same. It's 24 hours. So from the moment that you initiated the lowering request, after 24 hours, it would be processed. We definitely gonna decrease the time frame over the time, but it also need to comes along with more established reward and slashing mechanism that we are implementing, plus the reward period on Energy WebEx.
That's awesome, Money. So for everyone that has been asking, it's live now. Go check it out. Try it out. 24 hours. That's what we will do right now. Money, are we looking at options to make this faster in the future?
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be faster. I don't promise that this gonna be like in a minute anytime, because there are also there are some security implementations that is natively implemented on Energy Web X, that it should be in place. But yeah, definitely when we go further along the time, we're gonna reduce that as well.
Awesome. So, which brings us to basically the end of our presentation. Mani, is there anything else you want everybody to know before we close this presentation?
No, I would like to appreciate the opportunity that we could discuss again about the roadmap of what is being built at Energy Web. Myself and the whole team are very excited about all these recent developments. There are lots of other things that it's going on in the background, projects we are building, negotiations that are in place. But everybody as Energy Web is super excited with all these recent developments, and we are seeing the real tractions of the Energy Web and the true potentials of what everybody has been involved to in order to design and implement it in the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Mani, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to see all the tech that we have been building for years coming to life. So now that we are online, I will ask it to you again. Shall we go live next month one more time to give everybody another update?
Yeah, sure, why not? But maybe we
All right.
can have another surprise.
Oh,
Uh,
money, be careful, money. Be careful, money. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys like the dive events. I hope you guys are very excited about the future roadmap and objectives. And see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.
bye bye.